Okay, our next guest is chairman of an ASX-listed company who is bootstrapping her own startup to tackle the human skills crisis affecting young Australians right now. Renata Squario invested $300,000 of her own cash and plans to inject more. And the great news is she's right next to me in studio. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here, Adrian. It's a nice difference.
I know. You can tell how excited I am. I mentioned it every single time because for the last 6 months you would have been on that screen. So it's great to have you. Although the traffic was a nightmare, I know that.
Oh my God. Unbelievable, even for Richmond.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We don't need to talk about that, but it is so bad. But I want to talk about these skills, this crisis that you've experienced. We're going to talk about your family, your parents, but you've been in business for about 30 years. What are you seeing right now that's this crisis that you talk about?
So, I've sort of done some market research recently, Adrian, and we found quite a few proof points around the fact that human skill development is a big gap for our new starters into work and into their career. What we found was that sort of mid-20-somethings, the Gen Zs, are having a quarter-life crisis. And the reason why that's happening is they're finding themselves in roles they didn't expect to be. They've gone through university, they've gone through tertiary study, they've put in a lot of time and effort, and they've left thinking, I've got it, I've got this, I've got all the technical skills that I need, I'm ready for work. Unfortunately, what happens though is the bubble is burst once they start, and they realise that actually the very skills they need, the soft skills, the human skills, the interpersonal skills are missing. And you and I both know that in a workplace, that's the fundamental skills that'll give you the confidence and the ability to succeed. And unfortunately, because they're finding that they don't have those skills, they then find themselves saying, well, what do I do now? Why didn't I get those skills? 75% of our new starters said, I should have got these skills during tertiary study. They are going back and doing further study, they're developing themselves further, but they're having this crisis where they say, what now? I need to progress, I want to progress, what do I do? Yeah,
there are so many layers to this. We're going to talk about what you're doing about it, but firstly, this is such a huge issue, and I'm just thinking, how can it be solved in ways? I mean, you've got daughters. Is it more on the schools that need to be doing more here? Like, what do you think is the solution? I know it's challenging.
Look, the reality is, and through COVID, parents have really understood the huge amount of work educators do. There's no question educators are doing everything that they can to get our youth through the system and ready for work, because that's why they're there. They go to school, of course, for the learning experience, but to prepare them for work and employability. So I would argue schools are doing what they can, and I know that there's a massive education think tank at the moment thinking through other ways to educate our youth to try and bring some of this human skill development in. But it's not there yet. And that's why I've gone out, I've started my business, Maxme, and I've actually just gone live with an app. And the reason why we went live with an app or a human skill development app is it's the tool of choice for our young generation. They're Velcroed to their phone. That's where they experience life. They make sense of life through their phone. And so what we wanted to do was develop a learning program to give them these skills in the way that they like to digest life, and that's through their phone. Okay, so let's talk more about this. If I had the app in my hand, what does it do for someone that's at this age? I mean, is there a specific age bracket that you do look at with the app, and what are you doing with it exactly? So we do look for the upper secondary and the tertiary and then into graduate and new through work. The reality is these skills are transferable, and self-awareness, confidence, communication, working with others, they're applicable regardless of your age. But as you mature and start to think about work, they become really, really important. So if the app was in your hand, you'd be going through a very vibrant, exciting experience. And you would basically be going through the 6 learning skills, the 6 key skills, and really digestible, bite-sized, simple language type learning. And then really importantly, Adrian, you'd then be putting it into practice. Learning's not enough. You have to actually put it into practice and then reflect on what you've learned in order for it to become sustainable and part of what you do in your repertoire. So the app's been built in that learning ethos. And we have some vision on the screen just to have a closer look. We were talking just before the interview about mindfulness, and you were talking about that, it's the buzzword at the moment. How do you see that playing into this age bracket of kids, basically, or younger people? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What are you seeing with this exactly? I think mindfulness is so important. It's one of the core skills because it's the ability to recognise if you are in a stressful situation, which, by the way, is not always bad. Not all stress is bad. No. Overstress is bad. Some stress actually catapults you to achieve better results. Mindfulness gives you the ability to stop, pause and work out, where am I at? Am I in a good place? If I'm not, what should I do? And if I am, what more can I do? And so I honestly think, and I'm very passionate about this, is the future generation and their employability success requires them to be more mindful, but also requires them to have more confidence.
Sure.
And I think at the end of the day, if we can put these tools into their hands, it will make a huge difference to them and to their employers, because employers will find that their staff are more engaged, they're more productive, they're happier at work, they're giving more of themselves, they're in flow more. It's a win-win situation.
So let's, before you tell us where we can jump online and find the app, are you optimistic about the future? I mean, clearly you've got great energy, I can tell, but you know, mental health has risen. We know that. You've got your daughter, so you can see what experience they're going through. Tell us about your thoughts in terms of the future. Are you concerned? Do you think we'll manage this situation that's clearly changed?
The human condition is to survive, Adrian. We know this through time. It doesn't matter what difficulty is thrown at us. Of course we survive, and actually we thrive.
Yep.
Over history we see that. The reality is, though, that I think that our youth, and a lot of us actually, older people as well, are struggling with purpose. When you struggle with purpose, when you don't know what your identity is, when you don't have that kind of light on the hill that you can work towards, of course the mental health issue, the self-doubt, the sort of sometimes even self-loathing kicks in, because you don't know how to make yourself more purposeful and valuable.
Yep.
That's what we've tried to put into the app as well. It's not just about everyday skills, it's also your ability to find your why, to have purpose, to understand what your value is, what your best version looks like, and then go for it. Really get behind your learning and put it into practice.
Awesome. Well, with more people like you around, we can solve this issue. No, the energy that you have is awesome. I think that's almost the first place to start. Where can we jump online to find out a bit more?
On the App Store. So it's available both through Apple and Google, for the iPhone, for the Android. It's there for our youth to download. The first 5 levels are actually completely complimentary. It's free to download, free to use. I truly believe that if they get nothing more than just self-awareness out of the app, that's my job. Fantastic. If they go beyond that, that's brilliant as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in, for your passion and energy. We'll have to talk to you again soon and let us know how this is going. We'd love to get the word out there more and more.
Thank you.
Good luck getting out of the traffic for now.
Thanks so much.
We'll talk again soon, okay?
Thanks, Adrian.
Awesome stuff. Love the energy in studio. There's nothing better than that.